Imagine an airline so beloved by its customers that they willingly chose it as their first option for 50 consecutive years without hesitation. Southwest Airlines wasn't just transportation. It was a cultural phenomenon that transformed how Americans flew, with profit margins reaching an incredible 20% in an industry that typically struggles to achieve 5 to 10%. Southwest proved that doing business well and doing good weren't contradictory concepts. This carrier served more passengers than Lufthansa while generating more revenue than Air China, all while maintaining a remarkably positive public image that competitors could only dream of achieving. What was the secret behind their seemingly impossible success in such a brutally competitive industry? The answer lay in a simple yet revolutionary philosophy. Treat employees like family and customers like honored guests, with free checked bags, no penalty cancellations, open seating, and legendary customer service. Southwest created a loyalty that was truly rare. They weren't just an airline. They were an institution built on trust, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to excellence that would influence an entire generation of travelers. The golden era unfolds. The Southwest story began with classic American innovation when Herb Kelleher and Roland King dreamed of creating an inexpensive airline serving only within Texas. In 1966, they spent nearly $500,000 fighting established carriers in court who felt threatened by their radical business model. Armed with just 3 Boeing 737-200 aircraft, Southwest launched its first commercial flight with 12 weekly routes from Dallas to Houston and 6 weekly flights to San Antonio. Their concept was brilliantly simple yet powerful: frequent, affordable, and reliable service for business travelers and vacation seekers alike. Early strategic decisions to differentiate between executive fares and leisure fares opened access to previously ignored market segments that larger carriers considered unprofitable. Their methodical expansion throughout the Southwest region and eventually across the entire nation demonstrated remarkable consistency in executing their core vision. By 2017, Southwest had achieved phenomenal milestones: 45 consecutive years of profitability and status as America's largest domestic carrier. They even expanded internationally with routes to Cancun, Montego Bay, and Aruba, proving their model could grow beyond short domestic flights and compete on a broader stage. The foundation of success. What truly distinguished Southwest from competitors wasn't merely their business strategy but the deep, authentic workplace culture they built over decades. The company maintained a no-layoff policy throughout its entire history, even during the global financial crisis and COVID-19 pandemic that devastated the airline industry. They operated a profit-sharing program where employees truly owned a piece of company success, creating genuine emotional investment in airline performance. Their employee turnover rate below 5% demonstrated satisfaction and loyalty remarkably rare in a notoriously high turnover industry where burnout runs rampant. Their leaders, like CEO Bob Jordan, who spent 37 years at the company starting as a 27-year-old programmer, steered the organization with values identical to those its founders established decades earlier. Consistent internal promotions meant decision-makers genuinely understood Southwest's heritage and remained committed to preserving it. This culture wasn't just a job description. It was a collective identity that every team member understood and lived out daily in serving customers with genuine warmth and authenticity. The perfect storm arrives. The world changed on December 21, 2022, when Winter Storm Elliott created an operational disaster that would forever alter Southwest's history. Temperatures in Denver plummeted from 42 degrees to -24 Fahrenheit in mere hours, creating conditions so extreme that even this snow-accustomed city struggled to cope. Southwest's unique de-icing system, featuring open baskets to save costs, required frequent staff rotation to prevent frostbite and hypothermia. These extreme conditions exposed fatal weaknesses in their antiquated technology infrastructure that had been substantially upgraded in decades. The SkySolver software system, Southwest's proprietary scheduling tool, required 25 minutes to process one set of solutions while the ground situation changed every minute. When chaos erupted, the system couldn't handle cascading disruptions spreading throughout their network. Pilots received nonsensical routings like deadheading from Baltimore to Manchester to Nashville to Chicago without operating any actual flights. The hotel desk in Dallas, managed by just 2 people, became a catastrophic bottleneck, causing crews to wait hours for information, depleting the mandatory rest hours needed for next-day operations. The devastating consequences: Winter Storm Elliott forced Southwest to cancel over 15,000 flights, creating unprecedented financial and reputational disaster in the company's history. Direct losses exceeded $400 million in lost revenue, plus another $600 million for hotels, meals, alternative flights, and passenger compensation. The Department of Transportation issued a $140 million fine for operational failures, and reputational damage caused an estimated $300 million loss in subsequent quarter bookings. Altogether, the storm cost Southwest approximately $1.5 billion, a sum that would haunt the company for years ahead. Yet the financial crisis hadn't ended when operations normalized at year's end. 2023 revealed a far more troubling reality. Something deeper had fundamentally changed. Profits continued declining to just $465 million, while traditional carriers like United, Delta, and American posted record earnings. The pandemic's pent-up demand had evaporated, and Southwest found itself competing directly with larger companies possessing superior resources and greater scale. This wasn't a story about a single disruption anymore. It indicated their 50-year business model had become obsolete. The predator emerges. In June 2024, while Southwest's stock wavered and investors grew anxious, a hunter appeared on the horizon named Elliott Investment Management. With a stock purchase worth $1.9 billion, Elliott secured 11% company ownership, becoming the largest shareholder. Elliott was a name feared on Wall Street, notorious for radically transforming business strategies and ruthlessly restructuring boards to increase shareholder value. When the announcement came, it dropped like a bomb on Southwest's Dallas headquarters. The company's future became a battleground between two fundamentally different visions for the airline's path. Elliott argued Southwest needed radical transformation to compete with traditional carriers and must adopt their policies and strategies. They demanded new leadership, different business directions, and an emphasis on profitability over culture. The boardroom battle had begun, with Southwest defending CEO Bob Jordan while Elliott pushed for significant leadership changes. Both sides entered a proxy war that would determine the future of this once-beloved airline. The clash between Wall Street pragmatism and corporate values-driven strategy was about to reshape everything. The compromise that betrayed to avoid a devastating proxy battle that would tear the organization apart. Southwest took a step that changed everything. They adopted assigned seating, eliminated their free baggage policy, and introduced premium extra legroom sections for additional fees. The poison pill they released to prevent Elliott's takeover ultimately opened the door to compromise, meeting some activist demands. Gary Kelly, the executive chairman, announced he would step down from his board position, while 6 board members would retire in November, with an expanded plan to follow at Investor Day. Southwest's leadership, built on internal culture and homegrown promotion, now included executives from Virgin America, American Airlines, WestJet, and Ryanair. The policy changes made as concessions to Elliott obliterated the core identity Southwest had built across 50 years. Loyal customers felt betrayed when their once-free bags now cost $35. When flight credits now expired, and when open seating disappeared, replaced by subscription-based systems dividing cabins into tiers. The restructured board, now including external executives from airlines like Virgin America and American Airlines, represented a fundamental departure from Southwest's traditional homegrown leadership model. In February 2025, the no-layoff policy maintained since the company's inception was finally terminated. The fairy tale had ended, and a new, harsher narrative had begun. Everything customers loved about Southwest was systematically dismantled in pursuit of quarterly profits. The legacy that fades Elliott's argument was simple and seductive in boardroom presentations. Traditional airlines applying these unpopular policies were profitable, so Southwest should follow their strategy. This logic made perfect sense in slide decks but ignored a deeper truth about competitive advantage. Southwest succeeded 50 years precisely because they were different. They offered a unique value proposition no competitor could match, creating sustainable competitive advantage that built deep customer loyalty. Now, imitating traditional carriers, they competed directly with industry giants on price and convenience. Without the differentiators making them special and memorable, customers would no longer choose Southwest simply because they loved the airline. The Southwest cult was gone forever. Long-term, this damage would persist for decades as customers, employees, and company culture continued deteriorating. Employees lost jobs for the first time. Customers paid higher prices for diminished experiences. Meanwhile, Elliott would liquidate their shares in coming years, pocket substantial profits, and move to their next victim. The Southwest we knew and cherished ceased to exist. Thanks for watching this remarkable yet tragic journey of Southwest Airlines with the World Documentaries. This story isn't just about one airline. It's about how financial capitalism can destroy institutions built on human values and long-term vision. If you're moved by this narrative and want to explore deeper stories about industry transformation, social change, and modern finance's impact, we invite you to join the World Documentaries channel. We present educational documentaries uncovering real stories behind institutions and industries shaping our world. Click subscribe to join our growing community. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed our content and leave a comment below. We love hearing about your Southwest Airlines experiences or thoughts on how businesses should balance profits with human values. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in our next documentary. What are your thoughts? Share your Southwest Airlines experiences or comments about balancing corporate values with shareholder returns in the comment section below. Join our community and don't miss our next fascinating documentary.